Welcome, gents. What if I told you that the very things most people lose sleep over are the same things a Sigma male walks through without flinching? Fear has a way of trapping people. It holds them back from making bold choices, from speaking the truth, and from stepping into their own strength. But there is a rare kind of man who looks at fear differently. Instead of treating it like a wall, he treats it like a doorway. That man is the Sigma male. The beauty of the Sigma mindset is not that he feels nothing. He feels fear just like anyone else. The difference is that he does not allow fear to dictate the direction of his life. While others shrink back, he moves forward. While others get tangled in worry, he learns to bend with it and turn it into clarity. You see, fear is often exaggerated. People magnify rejection, loneliness, failure, and change until it becomes something bigger than it really is. A Sigma male cuts through that illusion. He knows life does not hand out guarantees. He knows that playing it safe is the fastest way to live small. That is why he faces what others run from. If you are listening to this, take encouragement from it. Strength is not about being fearless. It's about not letting fear own you. There are lessons in every setback and power in every risk. The Sigma male proves that when you confront what scares you, you gain freedom no one can take away. Let's get started, gents. Number 1. The silence of being alone. Silence is something most people run from. When everything around them quiets down, they rush to fill the space with noise. The television comes on, the phone lights up, or music starts playing in the background. It is not because they love sound that much, it is because silence makes them uncomfortable. In silence, you cannot hide from yourself. You hear your own thoughts, your doubts, your regrets, and your fears echoing back at you. That is why many avoid it. But a Sigma male treats silence differently. He does not see it as an empty space to escape from. He sees it as a tool. Where others panic in the quiet, he settles into it. Silence is where he hears his own mind clearly without interruption. It is where he sharpens his focus and makes decisions that are not influenced by the noise of others. Think about it. How many people make choices just because they cannot stand being alone with themselves? They jump into relationships too quickly, take jobs they hate, or surround themselves with people who drain them, all to avoid silence. A Sigma male does the opposite. He uses silence to check himself, to measure where he is, and to recharge before moving forward. If you have ever felt uneasy in silence, take a lesson here. The quiet is not your enemy. It is your mirror. The more you can sit with yourself without fear, the stronger you become. Silence can either expose your weakness or reveal your strength, and for a Sigma male, it always becomes the place where strength is built. Number rejection. Rejection is one of the hardest pills for most people to swallow. It cuts deep because it feels personal, like someone is telling you that you are not good enough. That sting can stay with a person for years, shaping their choices and making them afraid to try again. People avoid applying for jobs they want, stay silent instead of expressing their feelings, or settle for less than they deserve, all because they fear that painful word, no. But here is where a Sigma male stands out. Rejection does not crush him. It informs him. He does not see it as the end of his worth. He sees it as feedback. If a door closes, he does not stand there begging for it to open. He studies why it's shut, and then goes looking for another path. To him, rejection is not a wall blocking his life, it is a redirection. Think about the last time you faced rejection. Maybe it was from a person you cared about, or a company you wanted to work for, or an opportunity that slipped away. Did you carry that pain like a weight? A Sigma male would have handled it differently. Instead of letting it crush his confidence, he would take the lesson, adjust, and keep moving forward. This is why rejection never owns him. He understands something powerful. Being rejected does not mean he has failed. It only means that the situation or the person was not aligned with him, and that is not loss. That is clarity. If you can start seeing rejection this way, you will free yourself. Do not let it be the reason you stop trying. Let it be the reason you refine yourself. The Sigma male shows us that rejection is not the end of the story. It is just the push toward the chapter that was meant for you. Number 3, losing approval. For most people, the thought of losing approval is terrifying. They want to be liked, supported, and accepted, so they adjust their behavior, soften their words, and sometimes even betray their own values just to stay in the good books of others. It becomes a cycle of constantly watching over their shoulder, worried about what people might think or say. That is why approval feels like oxygen to them. Without it, they suffocate. A Sigma male does not carry this burden. He is not careless, but he is not driven by the need to please. Approval is not his fuel. If people agree with him, fine. If they do not, he still moves forward. His sense of direction does not come from applause, but from conviction. That is why losing approval never scares him. He knows that the crowd changes its mind daily. One moment they cheer, the next they criticize. If you live for their approval, you will live in constant instability. Imagine this. A man speaks his truth in a meeting, knowing it might not be popular. Most people would shrink, afraid of side glances and whispers. A Sigma male would still say it, not because he enjoys being difficult, but because he values honesty over comfort. He would rather lose approval than lose himself. This is where the lesson lies. Approval feels good, but it is unreliable. It is like chasing shadows. The Sigma male shows us that strength comes from being anchored within, not in the ever-changing opinions of others. Losing approval is not the end of respect. It is often the beginning of it. So if you fear being disliked or misunderstood, remember this. Approval fades, but self-respect lasts. When you no longer need everyone to clap for you, you finally discover the sound of your own voice. And that is where true freedom begins. Number 4, the unknown. The unknown is a place most people avoid. It is the blank page, the unmarked road, the future no one can predict. For many, uncertainty feels like danger. They want guarantees before they take a step. They want to know how everything will turn out before they even begin. That is why so many stay stuck. They choose the familiar pain over the uncertain possibility. A Sigma male approaches the unknown differently. He does not expect clarity at the beginning. He understands that life itself is uncertain, and that trying to control every outcome is impossible. Instead of fearing the unknown, he sees it as potential. It is the space where growth and discovery live. Where others freeze, he moves, trusting that his adaptability is stronger than the uncertainty ahead. Think about how often you wait for the perfect plan before you start something. Maybe you wanted to start a business, but you waited until everything felt safe. Maybe you wanted to move to a new city, but stayed because you could not predict the future. That waiting can stretch into years. A Sigma male does not wait for certainty. He builds it as he goes. The unknown is not chaos to him, it is opportunity. He knows mistakes will happen, but he also knows mistakes are teachers. He knows detours will appear, but detours often lead to hidden doors others never find. Here is the truth. Fear of the unknown is fear of growth. You cannot evolve without stepping into places you cannot fully predict. A Sigma male shows us that courage is not about having the answers in advance. It is about moving forward even when the answers are not visible. If you find yourself frozen by uncertainty, remember this. The unknown only looks dark from the outside. Once you step in, you realize it is not darkness at all. It is a canvas waiting for you to draw on. Number 5, being misjudged. Being misjudged is something that cuts deep for most people. The moment someone spreads a wrong story about them or paints them in a way that does not reflect who they truly are, they feel the urge to defend themselves. They explain, they argue, they overwork themselves just to prove they are not who others think they are. It becomes a heavy weight, living under the pressure of correcting every false opinion. A Sigma male does not live with that burden. He knows that being misjudged is part of life. People will create stories in their heads no matter what you do. Some will twist your silence into arrogance, your strength into pride, or your independence into coldness. To him, fighting every misunderstanding is wasted energy. While others are busy trying to change the narrative, he keeps building his reality. He lets results speak where explanations cannot. Picture this. At work, a person might call him difficult because he refuses to play politics. Another might call him strange because he values solitude. He does not run to explain himself to them. Why? Because he understands something simple. People see through their own lens, not yours. Explaining yourself to the wrong audience is like pouring water into a broken glass. This is what makes him powerful. Being misjudged does not shake him. It reminds him that he does not owe clarity to everyone. He would rather be quietly effective than loudly defensive. And here lies the lesson. Stop exhausting yourself trying to prove your worth to people who already made up their minds about you. The truth is, their judgment says more about them than it does about you. The Sigma male teaches us that peace comes when you no longer feel the need to be understood by everyone. Being misjudged is not weakness. It is freedom from unnecessary battles. Number 6, starting over. Starting over is one of the most feared experiences for most people. It feels like losing all the progress they worked so hard for, whether it is a failed relationship, a career collapse, or a personal setback. The idea of going back to square one is overwhelming. Many see it as a step backward, as proof that they wasted years of effort. That fear keeps them trapped in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, or routines that no longer serve them. A Sigma male views starting over through a different lens. He does not see it as the end, but as a reset. Where others see loss, he sees opportunity. Starting over gives him the chance to cut off what was weighing him down and to rebuild with more wisdom and sharper focus. To him, failure or collapse does not erase the lessons he learned along the way. It refines them. Think of someone who spent years in a career only to realize it was not aligned with who they really are. Most would stay because the thought of starting fresh feels humiliating. A Sigma male, however, would take the hit and restart without hesitation, knowing that clinging to the wrong path is more dangerous than beginning again. He trusts his ability to create, not the comfort of what already exists. This mindset is why starting over never breaks him. He does not measure himself by how many times he has to rebuild, but by how much stronger and wiser he becomes each time. Here is the truth most people avoid. Life will demand resets. Nothing is permanent, but starting over does not erase your worth, it sharpens it. A Sigma male reminds us that every ending is a disguised invitation to grow beyond what we thought possible. Starting over is not a punishment. It is a gift that only the brave are willing to open. Number 7, conflict. Most people avoid conflict at all costs. They will bite their tongue, suppress their feelings, and even compromise their own values just to keep the peace. For them, conflict feels like a storm that could ruin everything. The fear of being disliked, of losing relationships, or of causing discomfort makes them run from it. But avoiding conflict usually builds silent resentment, and that resentment eventually eats away at them. A Sigma male has a different relationship with conflict. He does not chase it, but he also does not fear it. He understands that conflict is not always destruction. Sometimes it is the only path to truth. When a situation is toxic, when lies are spreading, or when unfairness is weighing heavy, conflict becomes necessary. He sees it as a fire that clears away what is false. Imagine someone at work being treated unfairly. Most people would stay silent, afraid of the backlash. A Sigma male would step in calmly and directly, addressing what others pretend not to see. He does not raise his voice to dominate, but he refuses to let wrongs linger. He knows that silence in the face of injustice is more damaging than the discomfort of confrontation. This is why conflict does not shake him. He values truth over temporary comfort. And here lies the lesson for all of us. Peace built on silence is fragile. Real peace comes from facing what others run from. The Sigma male teaches us that conflict is not the enemy. Avoiding it at all costs is. True strength is the ability to enter conflict without being consumed by it, to use it not for destruction but for clarity. Sometimes the most honest conversations grow from the tension everyone else avoids. Number 8, unpopularity. Unpopularity is something that most people secretly dread. Nobody admits it out loud, but deep inside, many want to be liked by as many people as possible. They adjust their opinions, soften their edges, and hide parts of themselves just so they do not upset anyone. The idea of being ignored, disliked, or left out makes them anxious. For them, unpopularity feels like failure. A Sigma male looks at it from a completely different angle. Being unpopular does not bother him because he does not see it as rejection, he sees it as freedom. When he is not tied to pleasing everyone, he is free to speak his truth, make bold choices, and live without the weight of other people's approval. To him, being unpopular with many is often the price of being authentic. Think about how often people water themselves down just to blend in. A person may stay quiet in conversations to avoid sounding different. They may follow trends they do not even care about, all to be accepted. A Sigma male does not play that game. If something does not align with him, he simply steps aside, even if it means standing alone. He knows that popularity is often built on pretending, and he has no interest in living a lie just to be liked. This is the powerful truth. Popularity can be loud but empty. Authenticity can be quiet but lasting. A Sigma male teaches us that unpopularity is not something to fear. It is often a sign that you are being real in a world full of masks. If you ever feel left out or disliked for standing your ground, take it as confirmation that you are on the right path. The respect you gain for being true to yourself will always outweigh the approval you lose for pretending. Number 9, failure in public. Failure behind closed doors is one thing. Failure in front of others is a whole different story. Most people fear it deeply because public failure carries shame. The thought of others watching them stumble, laugh, or whisper about their mistakes is unbearable. For many, that fear is stronger than their desire to try. They would rather never attempt something than risk falling flat in front of an audience. A Sigma male sees public failure differently. He does not attach his self-worth to the judgment of spectators. To him, failure is not humiliation, it is information. If he falls, he does not see it as the end. He sees it as a test that refines his skill and strengthens his character. And the fact that others witnessed it does not weaken him. In some ways, it fuels him because now his comeback will be undeniable. Picture this. Someone delivers a business idea and it gets shut down in a room full of executives. Most would never pitch again. A Sigma male would go back, refine his idea, and return stronger. Or imagine someone trying something new in sports, music, or art only to get laughed at. Most would retreat forever. The Sigma male does not retreat. He uses the sting of public failure as fire to keep pushing. Here is the truth. Fear of public failure is really fear of embarrassment. And embarrassment only lasts as long as you allow it to. A Sigma male knows that the people who mock you today will often admire you tomorrow if you keep building. Failure in public is not the end of your story. It is often the chapter that makes your story unforgettable. The Sigma male proves that the ones who dare to fail publicly are the ones who eventually succeed in ways the crowd never expected. Number 10, radical change. Radical change is something that shakes most people to their core. It could be losing a long-term job, moving to a new place, ending a serious relationship, or stepping into an unfamiliar role. Change threatens comfort. It disrupts routine and forces people to face the unknown. That is why many cling tightly to the familiar, even when it is suffocating them. For them, radical change feels like standing on unstable ground, and that fear often keeps them stuck. A Sigma male sees radical change differently. He does not fear it because he knows change is not an interruption, it is life itself. Nothing stays the same forever. Trying to freeze life into a predictable pattern is impossible. Instead of resisting, he adapts. He bends with change the way trees bend with the wind, knowing that flexibility is what prevents them from breaking. Imagine someone whose entire career vanishes overnight. Most would collapse under the weight of panic and uncertainty. A Sigma male would take a deep breath, analyze the situation and start building again. Or picture someone going through the sudden end of a relationship. While others might drown in regret, the Sigma male accepts the shift, learns from it, and moves forward without letting it define him. Here is the lesson. Radical change is not your enemy. It is the doorway to growth that comfort can never give you. The Sigma male embraces change because he knows that every transformation, no matter how painful, brings the chance to rebuild stronger and wiser. If you find yourself resisting change, remember this: nothing evolves without movement. Radical change may feel like chaos, but in reality, it is often the start of clarity. The Sigma male reminds us that those who adapt quickly do not just survive change, they master it. Number 11, the loss of control. Most people fear losing control because it makes them feel powerless. They want certainty. They want to know what tomorrow will bring, how people will respond, and how events will unfold. When things slip outside their grasp, anxiety takes over. They obsess over details, overthink scenarios, and sometimes cling to illusions of control just to calm themselves. The truth is, much of that control was never really there to begin with. A Sigma male sees the loss of control in a different light. He knows that life cannot be managed like a machine. People will change, circumstances will shift, plans will collapse. Instead of wasting energy fighting the uncontrollable, he directs his focus toward the one thing he always commands, his response. That is where his strength lies. While others panic, he stays centered. While others scramble to fix everything, he works on what can actually be influenced. Picture this: a project at work falls apart despite careful planning. Most people spiral, pointing fingers, blaming themselves, or stressing over what cannot be undone. A Sigma male accepts the collapse, takes the lesson, and adapts for the next move. Or imagine sudden life changes, a breakup, financial setback, or health scare. He does not waste time wishing it had gone differently. He concentrates on how he will move forward, not on what he cannot rewind. This is why loss of control does not destroy him. He knows real power does not come from controlling everything, but from mastering himself. Here is the truth. The world will always move in ways you cannot predict. Trying to micromanage it only leaves you exhausted. The Sigma male shows us that freedom comes when you release the illusion of control and focus on your ability to respond with clarity. Losing control is not the end of stability. It is the chance to build inner stability that no storm can shake. Number 12, walking away. Walking away is something most people struggle with. They stay in draining jobs, one-sided friendships, or broken relationships far longer than they should. The reason is simple: fear. They fear loneliness, they fear judgment, and they fear the unknown that comes after letting go. So they convince themselves to endure, hoping things will change, while deep inside they know they are stuck. A Sigma male does not fear walking away. He understands that holding on to what is toxic or unfulfilling only steals energy from the life he is meant to live. To him, walking away is not weakness, it is strength. It takes more courage to leave what is familiar than to stay trapped in it. He values his peace of mind more than false stability. Think about it. Someone may stay in a friendship where they are constantly disrespected because they fear being alone. Another may stay in a job that crushes their spirit because they fear starting fresh. A Sigma male would make the hard choice and walk away, not because he does not care, but because he knows that clinging to what drains him will only keep him small. The lesson is clear. Walking away is not about quitting. It is about choosing yourself over situations that are no longer serving you. It is about protecting your growth, your energy, and your dignity. If you ever feel guilty for stepping out of a toxic space, remember this truth: you are not weak for walking away. You are wise. The Sigma male shows us that sometimes the most powerful move is not holding on tighter, but letting go completely. Number 13, not being liked. For most people, not being liked feels almost unbearable. They crave warmth, approval, and acceptance. So the moment someone expresses dislike toward them, it cuts deeply. They start second-guessing themselves, replaying conversations, and even changing their behavior just to win back favor. The fear of being disliked makes many live in a constant performance, always editing themselves to avoid rejection. A Sigma male does not carry this weight. He accepts that not everyone will like him, and he does not take it as a personal failure. To him, being liked is not proof of value. Respect matters more than charm, and integrity matters more than popularity. If someone dislikes him for being authentic, then so be it. That dislike does not change his direction. Think about it. You may have softened your opinions in a group discussion just to avoid tension. You may have avoided setting boundaries with a friend because you did not want to seem harsh. This is the trap of needing to be liked. A Sigma male avoids this trap. He would rather be disliked for his honesty than liked for his silence. The reality is this: being liked by everyone is impossible. Someone will always misunderstand you, disagree with you, or simply not vibe with you. The Sigma male knows this truth and lives freely in it. He understands that you cannot control people's preferences, but you can control your own principles. Here lies the lesson. Do not water yourself down to gain approval. The right people will respect your truth, even if they do not always like it. The Sigma male reminds us that strength is not found in universal likability, but in being consistent with who you are, regardless of who disapproves. In final words, life will challenge you, test your patience, and sometimes make you question your path. The world is full of distractions, opinions, and expectations that try to pull you off course. But as a Sigma, your power lies in clarity, self-trust, and quiet resilience. Every lesson, every choice, every moment of discomfort is shaping you into a version of yourself that is stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. Remember this: your life is yours to direct. You do not need to justify your choices, explain your path, or earn approval. Every boundary you set, every risk you take, and every moment of reflection is an investment in your freedom and your growth. Strength is not loud, it is deliberate, measured, and consistent. Your legacy will not be defined by how much attention you command, but by the results you create, the wisdom you cultivate, and the impact you leave quietly but profoundly. If you take these lessons seriously, if you embrace discomfort, trust your instincts, read people carefully, and value your own energy above all else, life will unfold differently. You will no longer react to the world, you will navigate it with precision. Mistakes will become lessons, challenges will become fuel, and your independence will become a superpower. This is the Sigma way. It is not about being better than others, it is about mastering yourself. It is about moving through life intentionally, with focus and courage, and refusing to allow the world to define your worth. Every day is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than you were yesterday. Carry this with you. Your journey is yours alone, and the power you seek has been inside you all along. Trust it, protect it, cultivate it, live it. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.